Hey guys, so I wasn't going to do a video about this build, but once I started playing a different build, I realized that actually this build worked really well, and I was farming retier maps with a 5-link with a cheap setup as well. I did a very similar build in 3.24 League with Animate Guardian of Smiting using Rakiata's Dance to invert resistances, while I was using Trypanon Maze with the Destructive Link to essentially make my Animate Guardian have 100% crit chance. So all it needs is crit multiplier and just damage. And this time I wanted to do a bit different version. Actually at first I was playing Dancing Dervish because Fallborn has a lot of lighting damage, but it didn't feel good, it didn't scale very well, and Animate Guardian just scaled so much better. So different idea was to use the new unique helmet, the Hallowed Monarch. The main thing is when you use a link skill, you link to your minion, each time either you or your minion kills a rare monster, it gains its modifiers. So it's like a Headhunter, but it's a helmet and it requires a linked minion. It does have some drawbacks. One of the biggest drawbacks that I forgot to mention while recording, your minion sometimes will steal one of the rare modifiers that will make it run away, and it seems that it even bugs out and it will never stop doing that until you re-enter the zone or I guess resummon the minion. Okay, so I'm gonna go over the helmet maybe first. It has really high armor for a helmet, has all resistances, essentially get a free link mastery which allows you to link to minion, and then your linked minion will pretty much never ever die because it's taking up to 75% less damage, and then the last line is essentially getting all the rare monster modifiers for 60 seconds. You want to only have one minion, because if you have two minions, only a random linked minion is going to get those modifiers. And if you want to build like a really one strong minion, well, you only want one minion. Once you get enough speed and you give Impulsum, and every time it hits it also crits, which means it also shocks, and when the shocked enemies die they explode. It can clear pretty much the whole screen, and I'm gonna add a clip I think I had where it was targeting one enemy but it was hitting the enemy almost half a screen away. So it can reach very far with the Smite. It's using special version of Smite. In addition, I'm also using Percule Stone, so its damage is lucky. I'm also using Volatility support, which also synergizes really well with the lucky. Rakiata's Dance is also somehow not expensive this league. Let me check how much is it. Okay, so Rakiata's Dance is like 1 divine now. I bought it for 90 chaos, so that's kind of like the starting cost. Getting Rakiata's Dance. Soul Ascension gloves are not mandatory, it's just an extra. This is by the way like a mapping build. It's not really made for big bosses because the character itself is rather squishy. I have no block, I have no suppression, I have like 13,000 armor and a bit of maximum elemental resistances, and that's it. And this is not Guardian, this is Ascendant. I did not want to go Guardian. Well, I did want to go Guardian because Guardian gets those relics and Sentinel, but if you link to relics or Sentinel and they expire, you die. So you can't use any other minions that would die. This build would have over 7 million DPS if you ramp up the maximum souls, 7.7 million DPS. Otherwise, the base damage is like 4 million DPS, but that's not including any, I'm gonna call it Headhunter buffs. It does not include any Headhunter buffs, so while mapping it ramps up the damage quite a lot more. Although Headhunter buffs usually work the best when you play a physical build, have a lot of physical damage which you can not convert but gain physical as extra. This time it doesn't have a lot of physical, so some of the Headhunter buffs are not that strong. Actually, to be fair, it doesn't feel like it's getting that much damage, but it's just fun. I think it's fun and it works, and that's all that matters. In addition, I'm also using this build, non-unique utility flask you use applied to link targets. So, and it's very important to have phasing for your Animate Guardian. Very often it gets stuck around enemies trying to reach something further away instead of attacking enemy right next to it. It feels almost mandatory to have phasing. It's very big difference. Also using the Hand of Fresia increase my aura buff effects. There's another shenanigan which you can do with auras that increase your resistances, and then with this rune graft you can also make enemies kind of copy your auras or be affected by your auras, increase increasing their resistance, and then Animate Guardian with the Rakiata's Dance would invert their resistances. But I don't think that this is worth it, because it's always going to be limited to 75 monster resistance. Well, I guess up to 80%, because Purity of Lighting would give more. But again, it's not just doing lighting damage, it's also doing cold damage, and monsters do not start at 0 resistances. Tougher monsters have like 40 LRS, so they would only gain up to 40 resistance before inverting. So I just don't think that it's worth doing this shenanigan. If you use Purity of Elements, monsters will also not be getting shocked or frozen, and that's also a big loss. So I don't think that this is really worth doing. So for the auras, I have Determination, Wrath, Haste, and Automation just to automate Molten Shell. I am using Arcanist Brand to create Desecrate and trigger Flesh Offering, and also Enfeeble. Oh, I am also using Utula's Hunger. You have to avoid getting life modifiers on your gear, but it goes pretty well because this doesn't have life, Percule Stove doesn't have life, Hand of Brescia doesn't have life, this one doesn't have life. When you already use so many unique or just in general items that do not have any flat life, it's much harder to get enough flat life on remaining gear. So in that case, I like using Utula's Hunger, and the rest of the gear becomes a lot cheaper. Like if you try to get boots with high movement speed, triple resistances, and big life, that could cost quite a bit. Although this league maybe not so much. I would ideally want to get some Chaos Rest because I have none right now. By the way, from the Bandit quest, I actually took Kraken because I wanted more movement speed, but you probably would want to take a passive point at this point, because moving faster doesn't really make Animate Guardian keep up faster with you. Now Replica Abyssus, because it's already pretty much unkillable as long as you do not forget to link to the Animate Guardian, it's never gonna die. And Replica Abyssus is just amazing because you get all the flat damage and a lot of melee crit multiplier because it has 100% crit chance, so it's really good with pretty much no drawback. From Scion I took Pathfinder and I took Guardian. Guardian essentially for a bit better reservation and healing. Pathfinder, even for this idea, it works really well because you're getting movement speed and you're getting better flash sustain, and you do want flash sustain for your Animate Guardian. You may also take the Bloodline Ascendancy. You could take this one, the Breach Lord, just for physical damage mitigation mainly. This build has damage, it lacks defenses, so I would probably take this one, lose those 3 passive points. I am already using this thing. Tender Embrace is to give you a kind of more recovery rate, but this is when you reach low life. You're not gonna be staying on low life, and also generates endurance charges. This one is not really doing much. Essentially, I just wanted, the main priority was to get Grab Blood Gain. The other one is Heart of Flame. This one is more important. When you reach low life, it gives you a buff similar to Molten Shell essentially, which lets you absorb quite a lot of damage. I do not even have any Awakened Gems, so this could be much stronger. Determination and Haste I want for myself as well, so I did not link it to Generosity, but Wrath is linked to Generosity. The Anointment is for Animate Guardian to get more movement speed and onslaught. It really needs movement speed and onslaught. By the way, I didn't even quality Convocation. Yeah, you would want to quality Convocation, and I would rather use this manually rather than automatically. But yeah, it's pretty simple build. It's very cheap to start. You can play on a 5 link. Although it does require quite a few uniques and the build is a bit squishy, so judge it for yourself. Like I said, I didn't really want to make a video about this build initially, but it really works very well. Especially in hives, you can just stand still and pretty much hold the signal prey and just make sure that you use your flask from time to time and just redirect your guardian, and it reaches so far away that it just clears so well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.